call the meeting to order, and I'll offer a prayer, and we'll stand for the pledge. Lord, thank you for this beautiful day. Just looking at the sky this morning and just seeing how clear and blue it was, and the sunshine, Lord, just reminded me of your greatness and your goodness, and just as the spring is continuing to just your creation just comes to life this time of year. And Lord, we're just so grateful to be able to observe that, Lord. And so just as that light, the sun shines today, Lord, just shine light on our meeting this morning that will allow us to make the best decisions for those that call Laclede County home, our friends and neighbors. And Lord, just help us to do the best work that we can with what we've been given to do, and as a result, accomplish all that we can and accomplish it according to your will. We just praise you and give you glory in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I have minutes for March 25th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as written for March 25th.
I'll second it.
Have a motion second to approve those minutes for 2015. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Minutes approved. First item on the agenda, we have a request to release surplus funds. I'll pass my notes around here, and then I also have information from the individual that submitted the request here by email. She has sent her ID. This was a tax sale that took place last year. The collectors issued a collector's deed. Research has not revealed any other heir or any other lien holder other than the individual that's asking for the release of the surplus funds. And this is, we're guided by statute 14230. And here's the
Identification.
the individual, yeah. And the amount requested looks like is $14,898.22.
I'd go ahead and make a motion to go ahead and reimburse the tax sale certificate off of that to the amount of $14,898.22.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion second to approve the request for the surplus in that amount. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Yeah, let's just initial that. We
This one?
really don't have a form.
I was gonna say, did we have anything other than?
You can have that if you want. Okay. And you want to notify Kristy, or you want me to notify Kristy? Okay. Okay. Next item will be the approval of the senior tax applications. Looks like we have 346. I would entertain a motion to approve those.
I would go ahead and make a motion at this time to approve the 346 tax freeze applications that we received by 4/15/25.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion second, approve the senior tax applications. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We come on in, gentlemen.
We don't wanna interrupt nothing.
The way they're standing at the
You're
back
not-
door, we're not sure if we want them to.
You're not interrupting, but if you wanna sit on the front seat, you know, you.
Well, you know, that's where,
Balance the room.
it's kinda where we like to hang out at.
Yeah, we don't buy, okay. All right, so we approve those?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, before I take up, discussion items, let me go ahead and, we have some guests in the room. Lyndall, you were here first, so if you want to speak to the commission, I'll allow you to do that. If not,
I'm just gonna sit back.
then sit back. Okay, all right, well, thanks for being here this morning. Mr. Shaddy, do you have something you'd like to address with the commission?
Yes, sir.
If you wanna come forward, you can.
There's a road there right at my driveway on Park Drive where it goes to gravel. And they say it's a private road, but it's also like, I guess, there's some people live up there too, you know? So it's not, I guess, private, it's public too.
Privately owned, it public
Yeah.
can use.
And I know at one point, I don't really know, well, I don't know if the county was taking care of that road or what, but special road districts, I guess, takes care of it till it ends right there at my driveway. And the people that's been blading that road, they've cut the ditch plumb out of it. The water's coming down, I mean, just literally washing my road out. And I didn't know if there was something that could be done about it, or they did change real good, you know, they put some drainage in and stuff, culverts in. But whatever that guy did, cut that ditch out and cut it back against that fence, back against it, he cut it way back, right up against my fence. And once before, Shane had dug me a little ditch to try to keep it from washing it out. And then people, whoever maintained that road, threw a fit, so we had to take it back out. I just wondered if there was something that could be done, you know, with, there would come a time and a point that Inns would take that over. And you know, I talked to one of the guys that lives up there, and he told me at one point he came and talked to Inns about, he said he would even be willing to pay Inns to take care of it, you know. And then back this winter, he asked me to blade it. I have snowplow trucks, and because that nursing home's up there, and I said, well, they're supposed to take care of that road. And he said, well, they can't, you know, they're in another town, the roads are bad, they couldn't get up there to plow it out. I went ahead and back rode it one time, but I didn't plow it, you know, cause I didn't know. I didn't want them to try to come down on me for something, you know. But it's just, it's kind of a mess.
Yeah, so it's my understanding, and I'm about 99% correct here, and I'm looking it up, it's loading, but that's in Special Road District 1, and you visited with Shane Johnson, yeah. So that would be, as you said, they maintain it up to that one point, and then beyond that, it's privately maintained. Who was doing the grading? Was that a private individual?
Yeah, somebody that worked for that. There's a little nursing home up there.
Okay, yeah.
With a tractor and blade or something.
Yeah, and they have it, I heard something last night, I went up there to check, 'cause I thought normally he does it at late at night, you know, and they still haven't done anything to it. But there's just so much water now coming down through there, you know, and then like, there's so much trees and leafage too on that one end that before this last rain, the leaves had got built up in there. Normally, the lady that lives there, she'll let us, you know, we'll burn them, you know, in that ditch, and that helps a lot. But then we got that rain and it been windy, we couldn't burn them. And I mean, that water filled up, I mean, it gully washed my road out, and then farther down across my place, I mean, I know we had 5 inches of rain up flat, but I mean, I've owned that place since 2011, and I've never seen it like flood that I had down there.
Yeah, we've had a lot, you're right, we've had a lot of water coming in a short period of time, and
Yeah.
a lot of leaves, a lot of culverts.
The leaf, yeah,
plugged up,
that's what.
cut a lot of ruts and washouts and a lot of
But,
roads.
you know, like I was looking at it the other day, you know, you just paved that road, a year and a half ago, and that, it's washed so bad, it comes down that road, and it's already chipping the asphalt, you know.
And that would've been special also on that pavement.
Would
That
it?
wouldn't have been us, yeah. that
Okay,
would've
I
been
didn't
through.
know. So,
Special.
but now, did the county, at one point, didn't they somehow or another, was there something to do with the county, not the special road on that part of that gravel road?
So the history
Cause
that
I
I,
talked to Shane about it a long time ago.
yeah, so the history I have is, that part has always been private, where Special One stops. It predates, this commission here. I can probably find some history on it, cause it came up
So-
before.
So if that's private, is there an easement then from this, on that private road up to that fence of mine? Or is it,
You probably have to check with the recorder's office and
Okay.
just look at the deeds and see what
so
they
it is
say
all private
from that point
from that
forward.
point, right from my driveway? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I'm sure those other residents that you speak of that live up there, they have easement to use that road to get to their homes,
Probably, yeah.
their properties and stuff. So that would be an easement on that part, but yeah, like Randy says, check with the recorder and see where your lines come to and how that's written
Yeah.
up. It'll be written up over there.
Okay, alright, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to, just see if, you know, I thought, well, I'd just come talk to you and see if there would ever be a part of you being able to take it over, you know?
have you visited with Shane or their commission?
I've talked with Shane,
Okay.
yeah.
That would probably be the best path forward, since they maintain to that point. You would want to petition them to bring that, the remainder of that road into their district. So Shane would be a good one to help with that, yeah.
How many houses are back?
There's two on the left, and then they've got one, they put a trailer house in on the other side of I call it the old folks home. But
Kerosene.
I think they may own that, I don't really know, I'm not really sure those do.
So there's an old folks home, a trailer house, and two houses on the left.
Well, on my side, there's the old folks home, the trailer house that's over here, and there's two houses on the other side of the road, but yeah, so, that's just, all I was wondering, you know, I was seeing what was happening to the pavement, and then my road's getting washed out, and it's just, it's just a, every time it rains, I was normally out there blading it, you know.
Right. You bet.
I've never been here or anything, I talked to Joe, and he said, I could come here at 8:30, so.
Yeah. And I had spoke with Shane, of course, and everything. He's gonna bring it to his board of commissions. I think they meet tomorrow or something.
Okay.
And that's, you're going in the proper range there, doing that steps. So the best thing to do is see what they come back with, and then go from there.
Okay.
And hopefully
And
they'll
then
get something resolved.
talked to, I think that guy's name's John that lives up there, but I know he told me at one point, I don't know if he had ever came and talked to him, but, or he could call or something, you know, so,
Yeah, like Randy had said, I don't know if that would predate Randy, but it definitely predates Erik and I. And it may even go further than Randy, but I don't know, you know. But yeah, no, it sounds like you're trying to do it in the proper steps there.
That's what I was after, yeah, to see if we can plant seed and see if in time, you know, cause honestly, that's a safety issue if that, you know, older folks' homes up there, if the ambulance did need to get up there, it's winter time. If that was taken care of, they turn it over to ends, and, you know, like, you know, ends just paved that road a year and a half ago or so. If that, I mean, they did two, but, you know, if the elections took that, and, you know, that could've all been paved, and I'm telling you, them guys, they do an awesome job of keeping, when it starts snowing and stuff, them guys do a great job keeping that road.
Have you got everybody in there on board for turning the road over?
My property kinda goes up that road, you know what I'm saying, but my driveway's just right there. And what it is, it's all the water comes down that gravel road, and it hits that ditch right there, because Special Road Districts has a culvert right there, because the other road goes up this way. And, it's causing me issues, so that's why, I know I had talked to, I believe his name is John, I'll go talk to him tonight, that lives in the first house on the left. And he's the one that told me he had been up here or something, or he called, and you know, he'd offered to even pay out of his pocket to have the road fixed or whatever, and it was something to do with the people that own that nursing home at the time. But someone told me it may have sold or something, so I don't know. I was just thinking, you know, it's,
I'd say at this time to wait, see where Special comes back, and
okay,
I'm sure Shane, I mean, since you reached out to him, he's real good at getting back with people and stuff, and I'm sure he'll get back with you and let you know how they feel, and
okay.
then they'll take the proper steps from there, I'm sure.
What's your address, Mike?
It's 24374 Park Drive.
24374.
And I think I may have had
It's
it changed a little bit, I think it's off and
Got
up
that
there
other
too.
street that comes down off over the hill here too, and he's got the
Golf
golf,
Wind or something.
something, I can't remember what that's called, but it's something.
2474.
24374, I believe.
He uses the post office box, he don't use his own.
And I think
address.
that's
And I
Jenkins.
use my.
Somebody by the last name of
business.
Jenkins that lives on the left, that first house.
Up that gravel road?
Yeah.
He works at the high school, I'm not sure what his last name is. I wanna say his name was John. Way off, I've only talked to him a couple times. And then I've talked to him back this winter, like I said, when it snowed, he'd stop me.
And he's lived there quite a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
I worked on his door there years and years ago, but I don't remember the name.
Yeah,
I think the last house on the left at the end, I've been there as well, but
And
I
I've
think
chased
Lindsey
him.
used to own that a long time ago.
I believe it was maybe.
Yeah.
He's the one that put all that in, I believe, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. He's the one that built that nursing home, care center, whatever it is, it's up there, country home, countryside home. Yeah, something like that. So,
But that's all I just wanted to see, you know, I just thought it'd sure be nice, you know, if that was all paved and if there's ditches there or something, it might even speed up the water, who knows, but something could be done that would help it a lot.
Okay, Mike, do you have anything else for us, or?
No, I just wanted to come, I've never been here, and I'm just kinda curious, I just wanted to ask him about it and see. It would sure be nice, you know, I just thought it's both ways, if they would turn it over and it's tax money and stuff, and it'd be nice if they don't pay, you know? Even though I might not use it, you know, or whatever. I had thought about building a house up there and putting another driveway in, but I don't know. Since that was private, nobody's ever really, you know. I guess if there's houses there, it's still an open road, it's a private road, but it's still open, I guess.
Do you
People
need
can still
Shane's
use it.
contact information? We've got his phone number if you like.
He called me.
You've got it, okay.
Yeah, cause I had called over there.
Okay.
He called me.
Okay, I was gonna say, we'd be happy to give you his contact
I
number.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
If that's all you need from me, if I'm free to go,
We appreciate you being here, our meetings are open, so you're welcome anytime. I think, you know, just to summarize, it'd be best to contact Special One at this point,
okay,
and then see what you can get done.
okay,
Okay.
alright, thank you
Mike,
guys.
thanks.
Have a good
Thanks,
day.
Mike.
Thanks for being here. Let's see, how do I spell caterpillar? Good morning, guys.
Good
So
morning.
I'll go ahead and recognize you, and I'm sure that, you have a reason to be here.
Not much of a reason.
Not much of a reason.
Nope.
So is this a
We're in the
is
area.
this a wellness check?
This is a wellness check.
Okay, would you like to meet with these guys outside in the hall?
Yeah, I think Brian and I already met in a
I'd like
small
doing it in
corridor
front of the
once.
camera.
You like meeting with them?
Yeah, I'm back.
Joe Wasmer, yes, sir, I spoke with you.
Yes, we've talked on phone.
You bet, I do appreciate your response and
You guys
stuff.
got the cards here just so you have them.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Randy, you need a card or?
I've got one back in my file case.
They're collectible.
They're collectible.
They gotta be signed.
Okay, well, and I've got one for Ryan too, so. Yeah, so, just Q&A, I guess. So Mac, I'll ask you first, Ryan doesn't have any more business to do with us till 2028, so,
This will be my last visit.
he's pretty much picked our pockets for the next few years.
Always come up with more.
Are all of our machines reporting?
Everything's recording, yep.
Okay,
Working on the 305, I think it's got a drive motor transfer and oil and final drive, so, I know we're working on it, I don't know where we're at on it for sure, if we've got parts ordered or where the stage is, but I can find out, and then,
Parts are ordered, I thought he said it'd be done this
Is
week.
that,
okay,
is that the number 44?
that's the mini excavator.
Oh, the mini X,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and then, the grader you own, we've got a quote out there on transmission on it, but I didn't know if you guys kinda decided what she's gonna do with
we're
it.
gonna talk about that a little bit later and see if we hold on to it till 2028. If the value increases because of, you know, just international relations at this time, and maybe it'll either be practical to fix at that point, or we'll get a really good trade-in
Yeah, get a good
from
trade-in.
Fabick on that. So, do you have any advice on that, Mac?
Well,
It's pretty expensive to
Parts
fix
are just gonna
it.
get more expensive, so it's gonna be the cheapest time to fix it, be now.
Yeah,
I think
so
it
you-
was, so.
You
the
took
way-
a more logical approach to that, I think.
Well, the way I quoted that was a certified transmission rebuild, which would get you warranty for 3 years, 5,000 hours on that transmission. There's cheaper rebuild options for that. With the certified, there's a few parts you have to replace that may not need replaced, like the external wiring harness, or,
Gonna put a cooler in it.
well, it's gonna need a cooler anyways, it's full of metal,
Oh,
so.
that's-
I really wouldn't save you a ton of money, it'd be a small price difference by going just, a non-certified where you just get a 1-year parts warranty, but it'd save you a few pennies, so I can quote it that way as well if that interests you, but it'd probably save maybe a couple $1,000, it'd still be probably
I've
39,000.
got that on my desk, would you like me to go get that, so you can,
We
good for
can,
now?
we can share this one, so I
Okay.
just wanna, since 21, Mac, we have spent $41,662.49 on that grade. I think the county paid maybe $100,000 for it when we bought it. And that, again, predated this commission, but I would have a hard time, and this was actually gonna be one of our roundtable discussion items later, but I would be hard pressed to put another 49,000 in that. So, and I know that, you might be reluctant to answer this question, but, could you give the commission any general idea what that might be, worth, in the current condition that it's in? Could somebody, you know, purchase that from the county and then do some of their own work on it, or there are individuals that do that type of thing that could come in a little less than that 50,000 on that?
So you were 42,000 on transmission?
42 plus, yeah.
42. Yeah, I mean, it very rarely, I mean, it's not a car where you can run to pick and pull and grab a transmission or anything and
Okay.
toss in it. So very rarely do people do that kind of stuff on their own, or there's really not a bandage that can be put on it to, you know, sell it and, you know, make any money on it or anything.
We have
like that.
Osceola Special Roads, now it's an H model, so it's a older model, but it's
Right.
similar, transmission's out of it, sitting in our shop. And what was trade value on it?
It was, 25,000,
So outright.
but it's also 20 years older.
It's older, but so I mean, outright on yours, you'd be more money than that, but still, you know, under 100 for sure. Be what it's probably valued at right now, the way it says.
Be worth probably
70.
Well, I mean, as it sits, probably in the 40s. I mean, it ought to be worth, you know, retail in the 85-ish.
So how would you, Ryan, how would you market that if you were sitting on this side of the table? How would you market that?
Well, you can go to auction with it. You could like Purple Wave or something like that,
Right.
and they come out and they do their own inspections. They do their own videography and they note in there that it's got a bad transmission, whether it doesn't have reverse or whatever. and they'll post it live on their website, and it'll go out to auction for like 7 or 14 days, whatever it is, and people will bid on it knowing that it's got the issue, and it might bring, the problem with Purple Waves, it's a no reserve auction. It could bring $5,000, it could bring $55,000. You just don't know. I mean, the Purple Wave people can tell you, you know, if you call them, that they will tell you this year, this model, you know, these criterias, they're kind of averaging this at auction, to try to give you a warm and fuzzy about what it might bring, but it's kind of a crapshoot.
The benefit of your machine is it's pre-emissions, so that's why that one holds value, is everybody wants pre-emission stuff, so it's the best of both worlds. You got the joystick control grader instead of the old lever style, and you have pre-emissions, so that makes it worth putting some money in to, you know, somebody that's gonna own a machine and not have a warranty on it and try to repair it themselves down the road. The value in that's not as high for you guys, cause I mean, you have a fleet of graders under warranty that, you know, the dealer repairs, and so, I mean, it's a little different, but, that would make it worth a little more to the right guy, especially a contractor or something. That would definitely need to be in the marketing of it if you're gonna sell it, that it's, you know, you would definitely want it listed as pre-emission, cause people love that, so.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a driver, for
Yeah.
sure.
And it's
Or
got
anything.
it's had quite a bit of engine work done too. I mean, we had the head off of it and did, so it had a head gasket fail, I think's what it was. Water pump failed, took head gasket out, overheat, took head gasket out, so it's, cylinders all look good on it, and I can't remember what, I have to look at the work order what we done. The biggest chunk of that money spent was on that one work order.
Yeah. And if you were gonna keep a spare grader, you know, if you surplus this one and you buy a spare to hang on to, I mean, you're gonna end up with an emission machine that might have, you know, def headers like we've seen in the past and stuff, and other things that you get billed for. If it was an out of warranty machine that you owned outright, where right now, you know what you have, you know what you've got in it, you know the engine's good, you know, you put a transmission in it, those are your two biggest ticket items, you know.
Ideally, if you're gonna have a machine set as a spare, you don't want a DEF machine, cause DEF has shelf life, and it will,
They
you
have,
know,
they
it'll cause
constantly
problems.
Needs to be used.
constantly.
you'd have to be cycling it in, you know, you'd have to change the way you guys kinda operate slightly just by phasing that one in every now and then, just keep fresh DEF through it and keep it running, where a machine like this one, it can set, in the worst case, the batteries are dead when you try to get on it, you know, or something, so that's a benefit of it.
With the way our luck's been running lately, we'd be getting used pretty much every week,
Yeah.
You know.
so.
Yep.
So that's true, so cycling in wouldn't be no issue at this
Wouldn't
time.
be an issue right now, so, no.
For
Unfortunately.
sure.
So you were thinking around 40 as it sits, if it's repaired.
Roughly, I'd say 30 to 40 the way it is right now, and, you know, repaired, a retail number, you know, probably in the 80s.
If that were a DEF machine with the hours that it has on it, what would those numbers look like?
Do you remember what the hours are on it?
I got it right here.
That's gonna lead to the real question.
Well, I know this disappeared because it was gonna do that today, so bear with me.
It's got 70-some hundred hours on it, doesn't it, Matt?
Yeah, I think so, 7,000.
So 8,000 hours, you know, in a DEF machine, I mean, you thinking like 4 years old or something, or?
Oh, I'm just tossing out a general
Yeah,
question.
I mean, 100, 115, I mean,
Okay.
kinda hard to,
With that many hours on it, in today's market, we could get 100, okay,
yeah.
okay.
But you're also increasing the years of it as well,
Mhm.
so you've got to take that into a factor. So, and you're going, whatever model this one is to a 40-year-old machine, basically, is what he's basing it off of.
Yeah.
So if you take that and get that into a DEF machine in today's factor of going into that and add in those few extra years, you're at the same amount of money.
I mean, Cat's figuring like your 5-year leases, you know, they're putting a residual on those of like
I
160,000.
thought we had some recently that were 130,
Were they?
anyway.
I'm pretty sure 31 was somewhere around in that.
That may be right, yeah. So 5-year-old machine, I mean, we're figuring 8,000 hours on those, you know, 7,500.
75, yeah.
So, and that's kind of what they see the global position is at the time of the contract. But that's a machine, you know, freezing temperatures and stuff don't affect it quite as bad as some of the other machines that are a little more sensitive to.
Got a little more forgiving fuel system, not as, you know, the technology's just a little older on that one.
It
so-
hobbles, yeah, the technology hobbles in today's world.
Can,
It really does. We have to confine your emissions and everything down so much and everything to meet the standards of what they're all calling for, which increases to where you have to do something different with fuel pumps, with filters,
Yep.
with everything else, and different lines and ways to put things, which decreases horsepower as well as
yeah.
has to have other stuff, like have to pump and work harder.
We
We
would,
go
we would
through-
love to not have to mess with emissions on machines. That would be great for everybody.
That kind of leads me, whenever we talked at CCAM about the #1 fuel thing,
Yes, sir.
you know, had kind of let Mike know about that and kind of fed that back through you and everything. Something that you might think about in the future or plan for a little bit is maybe having a tank of that or a way to receive a tank of it, maybe in your fuel truck to scatter it through the fleet or something like that if we've got those critically low temperatures, again. That's what some of the other counties are kind of prepping for.
Yeah.
Something else on fuel related, so you fought algae, what, 2 years ago now, real bad? We probably need to pull fuel samples, if not on every grader, just hit or miss to make, cause that algae, I mean, it'll come back, it can, if it wasn't fully eliminated, so you can probably double check, make sure it's not, still got some maybe trying to come back on some of them.
So Mac, what's our schedule of pulling those samples right now? I thought we had a routine.
The fuels is set, we do on the oil samples, we do them, George does them every 250 hours on service. Fuel samples, I would suggest having your fuel supplier do them at no cost, is what I would push for, but if they won't do them or whatever, I can just swing by graders while I'm out and about at any time,
That's
so.
what I was gonna say, 'cause we've got one coming up for service this coming Friday,
Yeah, we have Matt pull a fuel sample.
Might as well just pull it right
It's not a
there.
big deal.
right? I mean, that'd be
Yeah.
a smart thing to do while we're already right there.
I don't know if it was
And
one
you
of the
mentioned
graders though.
you mentioned fuel issues, I've got a deal right now, we're already into our yearly supply of filters,
Yeah.
because we're having issues, as that was brought up.
These would be
Something
your
we'll talk
3
about later.
oldest graders, whichever ones, and I don't know if that's the one Matt's servicing, so it'd be the 3 oldest ones you have now would be the ones we need to sample, just to verify that they don't have, cause I think we phased out the 1 or 2 sets since you had those issues, I believe. I think you're just down to the 3 graders now that would have had that fuel. Do you remember how many graders we had?
Let's see, we're on a 3-year, we got those on a 3-year cycle essentially, so
So there'd be
there's 2
6
years.
graders.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I can pull up, I've got records of ones we fighting in, so I can pull them up and see. And if it's
I
one
bet
Matt's
it's wrong.
servicing, we'll do it, if not,
It's not, the
Okay.
one Matt
I
service.
was gonna say, he's got
It's a
45 is when he's servicing
no,
this.
that's
an
one of the new
initial.
ones. Yeah, so,
Just got in like November, December, probably one of those machines like that.
and it wouldn't hurt to, we pull one on your transfer truck too.
Where's he fueling that out of?
Right over in town, over at,
MFA?
no, Energies,
Energy.
yeah.
Oh, Empire.
Energy.
The MFA's where you guys were getting fuel when you was having your algae issues.
That was, and that's what I heard, I don't know, that was pre us. So yeah, so we're still trying to fill in some of the spots, some of the blanks there for us to stay caught up with where y'all are talking those conversations.
Well, I think you're probably good, but it's, algae's one of the deals, it's a lot better catching on the front side than it is on the back side.
Oh, absolutely, I've had it in my tractors and stuff as well, and it is hard, I mean.
And honestly, it wouldn't hurt you.
It's not in your system, and you just about gotta break it apart everywhere you can.
I'd probably jump the gun here, you're probably better off just to go ahead and treat your bulk tank, just buy a, go to O'Reilly's, buy a bog, just bottled algaecide and dump it in there, you won't run nothing.
Right. that's
Run
one
it through
thing.
everything once.
Well, like I said, I'm already visiting with George on an issue there, cause we are into filters, our yearly supply filters, I just found out this morning, talking with our mechanic. And since that's been brought up, I'll go ahead and come into that. With that being the issue there, that we've already studied a plan up to, hopefully, I'd like to do it this week, get it done this week, but we're going to drain that fuel truck. We're going to check and see what we got in there, look at it, feel it with our own hands and eyes, and see what that is.
So you got
see
a
if we
filter on
It should, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So we're gonna tear that filter up too. I wanna cut that filter open, you know, also, but I wanna see what's in that tank. I want it completely drained. I want it done. When we go from there, we shouldn't be changing these filters this quick in order to be in our yearly supply.
Yeah, well, that's a good preventative maintenance practice on that too, do that every year,
Yeah,
so.
and then like you said, what I'm gonna do then is we are gonna go ahead, even though we clean that tank out, you know, big tank like that, without taking it and actually heat pressuring, washing out, in, draining, giving it proper time, cause it is a metal tank, condensation, everything else is, the temperatures change. So with that being said, I still wanna put some of that algaecide in there and everything, go from there.
Filling that tank, keeping that tank full will help eliminate that condensation and algae too.
Absolutely, but
it, fill
we
it up
can
in the
still,
afternoon.
every once in a while, and I'm not a person that is against even running some fuel treatment
It don't hurt.
all
Yeah,
year
you're
long,
fine.
cause it gives it a little bit of extra stuff and, you know, all year long. Especially in a tank like that, we're filling multiple units.
Yep.
So, but, just a round table discussion there that came out further, so.
We had some invoice discrepancies, those have been fixed. We had traveled on a warranty job, got billed to you, but we credited it and fixed that. I don't think we've got any more of that going. I think everything else I had going with Leona or Mike is passed now. I think it's all, there's those invoices and the 305, that's it, so.
Yeah, still trying to figure out for sure on that mini.
Yeah,
Curtis,
I'll-
he emailed us yesterday and said parts were coming this week, so.
Okay.
It'll be,
Yeah,
should
that's
be.
what I got right here, saying something, hopefully have that, yeah, completed this week.
One other deal is VisionLink. If you guys have any questions on it, because I know you two haven't sat down, never kind of seen it, and refresher's always good probably too. We can, I can stop by sometime, we can go through VisionLink. That's the, you got GPS devices on all your machines. You can track hours, locations, fault codes, service histories, you can see, idle times, all that kind of stuff, so. It's quite a bit of fuel burn, it's quite a bit of functionality in there. Now, some of your older graders are on a lower subscription level, your newer ones have a higher subscription level, so you see a little more data with them, and everything coming forward will start having that, you know, we've got a better device on those machines on the newer stuff now, so you can see more information, but,
Sure.
we can
Got what you're saying.
set through that here in the coming weeks sometime, just
Yeah,
whenever you want.
where you guys can set remote somewhere else, you guys can also see everything that's
We
going on with it.
can, we can see the same information you're seeing, so.
We don't study it regularly, only if there's like a fault code, like if George calls in and says this is throwing a code, Curtis can go in there and kind of see what the last day or two.
Run it back and see what it's doing.
Yeah,
You guys can set alerts up though, where it'll text you or email you on a fault code, or if you want, I mean, you can get as nitpicky if you wanna set a geofence and the machine starts up outside of certain hours, or if a machine leaves that geofence or whatever, it sends you alerts. I mean, there's
if you get
all
a
kinds
machine
of
fired up
functionality.
on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can
When
get
you're not
text.
working.
You got idle time that's above a certain threshold, it can alert you. If you got, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. We generally at the dealer will show people how to set alerts up on higher level fault codes and that kind of stuff, cause it'll wear you out on the other ones, but it is, the functionality's there.
That's what it sounds like to me right now.
Yeah, it's just, it's more information you probably need, but it is there, so. But
You bet.
I think that's all I've got.
All right,
You bet.
Well, we appreciate you stopping by and checking on us, make sure we're doing okay, and
You bet. I appreciate you answering your phone, even though I know Ryan sometimes is like, oh, there's Joe again.
You got Ryan's number, you got Curtis's number, I believe, and now you got mine, so
You bet.
I,
I like
Spread it out.
Ryan saying, please.
or if you're not done chewing on him, call me next, chew on me. We can-
You bet. I appreciate that. I didn't-
Somebody will answer.
Somebody will answer, so.
And I do
I'm through
appreciate
here every
that.
day, so I'll drop parts off for you guys and stuff quite a bit, and I live up in Montreal, so I'm through here quite a
You
bit.
bet, yeah.
And then, yeah, so anything parts service related, reach out to me, so,
You bet.
I'm your parts and service guy, so.
I appreciate that.
We get out of
Very
here.
good to see you guys.
Good to see you,
Thank
so.
you. Yeah.
Yep. We'll see you later.
See you, Ryan.
Thanks, Joe.
See you back.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right, before we take up the discussion items, Mr. Murrell, do you have anything?
Yep, I come before you guys here back a couple of months ago, and I know you guys have had some, employee issues, so I kinda waited to come back around, to ask about LAF paperwork, about getting signed up as a pass-through account like the sheriff's department has.
We have not taken any action on that, Mr. Murrell.
Yep, I'd actually forgotten all about it, didn't look through my other notes.
And so I've given you guys some time to study that and do that, so. And then the other, understood that there was a pay raise or something at the beginning of the year after budget. Was that for all employees, including elected officials, or was that just for employees, or I heard bits and pieces and I'm not sure exactly. So I'm asking because you know how rumors are.
So there was an amount that was allocated for, elected officials and staff.
Okay.
Did you receive that?
Not that I'm aware of.
The salary was set by the salary commission, so. I don't know.
I know my employees, their bulk amount, that's not changed, so.
Oh,
Yeah, and that won't, Steve, those are part-time
well, the contract,
okay.
they're not
Yeah.
payroll.
They're not, their contract,
Yeah, they get a 1099, they're not payroll,
how can they be 1099?
because they've always been that way.
Okay, but
They've never been on
I understand that 1099, you basically, like say you would hire me and you say, hey, there's a job, go do it, but you don't tell me how to do it. And if you have a job description and you tell them what to do, how to do it and all that, it's a W-2.
I guess if you are considering changing them from the manner that they have always been, that would be a discussion we would need to have.
Yeah, because I mean, they're not just, we just don't turn them loose and they can do what they want. They have a job description, they have,
Have they always been like that?
oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
they've always qualified for a 1099 then?
That's what I would expect. I mean, I never did. All I turned in at the end of the year is what they get paid, and I never knew how all that transpired, you
To
know,
my knowledge, they still are,
so.
unless you're telling me something's changing.
I just know with payroll, on the other boards I sit on, we get into a lot of payroll issues, and it's like, okay, well, you have a job description, you tell them what to do and how to do it, then they can't be 1099, cause they're not a.
I don't know, if you're telling me today that you're changing something about the way that they have always had a status, then we can look into that.
Well, I mean, we just need to check that and see tax-wise how that works and make sure we're doing it correctly, so the county doesn't get in trouble and they're treated the way they should be, so.
Okay, will do.
So Steve, there might be another aspect of that you wanna consider, because within your budget amount, should they not be 1099, and I won't, wade into that issue, but should they not be 1099, then you might be aware of, then they would be based upon an hourly wage, and that might look different as well at budget time.
Yeah, and that may be something we have to visit next year, I don't know, but we need to, I know that when you get into that wage and hour thing, if they come in and start looking, sometimes they're not very forgiving, and I just wanna make sure we're doing the correct things.
I have great confidence in our HR department at the county, Steve, but thank you for that, yeah. Anything else?
No, when could when could I expect to answer on the LAF?
We'll discuss it when we get to round table, and I can probably give you a call after a while.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Randy, good morning.
Good morning, sir. I thought you might like an update on the FEMA situation. Tomorrow, the governor will make the official request in writing to the president to declare Missouri for the damages we've had since March 14th. And it looks like with all the homes in the Boot Hill region, that we're way over the $12 million state threshold. However, tomorrow is also the drop dead on the PA, which is the public assessment. And I've contacted multiple times our partnerships in the public entities, and it's my opinion as of today that we may not meet that $170,000 threshold for the PA, which is not a problem. And even if we see that we do after the declaration, we have 30 days to do an add-on. State doesn't really like to do that. They like to have it up front, the numbers up front. But in me trying to collect all the numbers countywide, you know, I'm just not close to that at this particular time. Were you able to make that call yesterday?
I made a call, and we would not be able to count on any numbers from Road and Bridge.
Okay, so that I think puts it to rest, because the other entities combined are not going to be close to that 170, 200. So just make you aware of that, you know, unless something pops up today. And we were kind of thinking the city had more than what they want to throw in, basically. And the only other participant will be Laclede Electric, and that's not going to be close to meeting the threshold. So just make you aware that we're probably not going to have any PA, you know, on this. And to clarify for the media, what the IA is individual assessments. That does not include barns and outbuildings, anything like that. That only includes a resident that is your primary resident. So some of that stuff we had over there, we had a lot of damage, were secondary residents, so that may or may not be included in our IA. So we have 28 properties that were damaged, either with flooding or tornadoes, but majority of those are going to be barns and secondary residents and things like that. Just to make it perfectly clear to our residents, we're doing all we can. You know, the commission has done all they can. I've done all I can, you know, to get us in the program, to get us part of the program. But in the end, you know, there are going to be some limited restrictions, which would be coherent to what we've had in the last 15 years. You know, some of the paperwork is now streamlined. It's going to be easier. Going to meet with Mike Cheek today and just kind of brief her on how simple it's going to be this time. But primarily, what she was going to do was the, you know, the public portion. But we're not going to put anything in for Road and Bridge, and Conway's not going to put anything in, and Peaburg, and Stoutland, and Richland, and all of them are going to take care of their own losses. Then we won't have a lot of paperwork, is what I'm saying. And that's just the way it is. You know. Are there any questions about that?
Randy, I don't have anything else. Appreciate the for the time you invested in that, but it sounds like there's nothing additional that you would be able to do. You've made calls, you've ran the numbers, they are what they are, so we appreciate that.
I think that in the future, you know, we may be looking at this whole thing differently in the near future, you know. And it'll be, I think, to our advantage, because I think the state will be more in-depth to manage the whole program from here forward. Instead of going with a 3-set process, you know, FEMA, they come in, and then state manages it, and then we confirm everything and do our numbers. I think that maybe we're just, in the future, hopefully looking at us in the state, and use the same people for the assessment teams. That's the problem we have. You know, using FEMA, you know, they hire them at the last minute and train them at the last minute, and you get a whole set of people every time we go through this. And sometimes you get good people. They're all good, but sometimes you get easier to work with people. This particular time was not like that. You know, the people we were dealing with come from New York City. And we had 2 teams last week, 2 teams the week before. We're gonna have another team next week, and they're from New Jersey. So I'm not really looking forward to that. But anyway, they think differently than we do. But that's the synopsis, the final synopsis, I think, of what's gonna happen. Will be a declaration tomorrow. Laclede is in it. But, you know, for AI, not PI, unless we come up with something that's, you know, we wanna add on to it through road and bridge. But if we do, that's gotta be 170, 200.
Gotta meet that criteria, that threshold is what you're saying. Yeah. So,
And we're also, this time, there was an opportunity for, I think the presiding and I talked about this, a good thing. There's an opportunity for some of these, volunteer fire districts to, you know, to put in their portion of it on the work they did, cutting trees, clearing roads, their labor, their equipment, and all that. But because we can't meet that 170, then they're not gonna get anything either, because that's part of that.
so you're saying they have their stuff already put in on that, or
I'm
that's
saying,
why you're saying it's an
I'm saying that
opportunity?
Eagle Falcon in competition.
You've already added up all of their, okay, good. But whenever I heard opportunity, this is an opportunity for them. That's why I was kind of a little bit lost on whether they'd already put their stuff in yet or not, so.
Yeah, they give me preliminary stuff, but if we can't meet it as a county whole,
Sure.
you know, then we can't get them any money back, unfortunately. Okay, now you still wanna do that deal we talked about yesterday?
Yes, sir, it is set up right at 10:30.
Okay.
Yeah, even if I can't be there, they will be.
Oh, they're gonna
Because
be-
you said you
oh,
could.
sure, yeah, I did.
And then
now
let them drive that off.
Now
It's the
something else
Humvee,
has come up.
Getting it out of the warehouse is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I got that set up for them to be there at 10:30.
Now, who is they?
City of Lebanon, the mechanics,
Okay.
Casey Henry,
Okay.
and then they will be the ones to drive that out of there.
Okay.
That
Okay.
relinquishes us from any liability that way.
Okay.
You know,
Be there.
it's on them, it's not on us no more.
So you want me to just get it fired up?
Yep, we'll need it started.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
I mean, they could get it started, I'm sure, on their own, but it would be helpful if you would, if you don't mind, to be there.
Yeah,
Shouldn't take you any more than 2 minutes.
I'm over my 2-minute limit now.
I'm talking about starting the Humvee.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
If
So,
you don't
yeah, if you don't mind, that'd be great.
have problems.
And if I can be over there, I will, but I don't know if we're gonna be able to make that for me today.
I'll probably get it. No problem.
But Casey and Rob, I think's his name, should be over there.
Okay.
So, you bet. I appreciate that.
All right, anything else for Randy? Okay, Randy, thank you.
This time,
Okay.
Appreciate the update.
all right, bet.
Kristy, good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm just here as a concerned citizen, not as an office holder.
Okay. Would you raise your right hand?
Which road do you got?
Yeah, I'm here to complain about my road.
Come on.
Oak Lawn, and the road grader actually parks on my road,
Mhm.
and he's fixed all the roads around my road, except for mine. So Tennyson's driveway is washed out real bad.
Okay.
And then, the bridge
Right at the bridge.
at Mambus Bottom,
Mhm.
that's really bad too.
Right. Okay.
It'd take him probably 20 minutes if he would just
Yeah,
drop his blade,
okay.
but,
I'll speak with Sean on that. I can't believe that he hasn't already gotten.
yeah, I almost stopped yesterday, but I was like, no, don't do it, just.
Right. And you could.
And there's 2 road graders there now too, there was
Yes.
another road grader parked there
Yeah,
this
that's
morning.
because I have both those road graders was on Independence yesterday with the water truck. And then now the both road graders and the water truck are on Kansas today.
Well, and I know there's probably roads that are worse, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like,
No, it's
he
still,
drives
he's
over
right there.
it every day,
But then
so.
shooting over to Independence or coming back from Independence, it's very easy just to shoot right down through there.
Cause
so-
that's where he parks, is right by the
Yeah,
Tennyson's
right
bad
there,
road,
Grace,
so,
Justin's, you bet.
Yeah.
Just up above that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
in between my house
I will-
and Justin's house.
I haven't myself actually drove through there either. I drove a lot of the other roads, but I have to say also I'm at fault that I hadn't even drove through there yet myself.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but I will, as soon as we can get Kansas dressed up and taken care of, then we'll have one of them hit that on the way back through either the normal parking spot or on the way out to a different road, to Julie or Jewel there, so.
Okay,
You
thanks.
bet.
That's all I needed.
Perfect, that was too easy.
Thanks, Kristy.
Thank you.
That surplus, do I need to do anything with it? Have you got to it yet?
Yeah, the surplus property,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did you approve to pay it?
we did.
Do you have like all the information of who I need to write the check to and
After,
everything?
after the meeting, I'll bring it over to you, cause she has a new address, she sent me some email, and so I'll bring it over to you.
Okay.
Can I
Thank you,
take,
Kristy. Have a good day.
recess right quick, and
You bet.
I'll be right back.